All right, so today's adventure takes us back to Malibu. I'm going to Leo Correa State Beach, which is a beach I've seen, I've driven past, but I've never painted there before. I'm meeting with Ariah Myles. You may have seen him in previous videos, friend of mine. We're gonna paint there. Pretty excited. Also, in other news, I've been driving around the last few days in Los Angeles without my Maps app. That's a big accomplishment. Like, I feel like I've reached a milestone where I can actually drive around down here and have an idea of where I'm going without looking at my freaking phone. Okay, so you have to drive through the Santa Monica Mountains to get down to the beaches of Malibu. So, but I wanted to stop and show you guys because it's pretty dramatic here. Actually, this would be a good painting spot, but it's kind of noisy because of the road. But let me show you what I got here. Okay, so this is the view looking west. As you can see, the ocean out here. And then there's some trails down here you can hike into the canyon. Okay, and here's the view to the north. And I don't know if you can see, but these hills right above the yellow flowers here, it's all covered with like these purple blossoms. So yeah, really beautiful. It is beautiful. The weather's perfect. And I'm thinking of doing sort of a classic panorama here. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I'm here with Ariah. Ariah is actually thinking of painting down on the beach.
Hello, hello.
So did you find anything down there?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go down to the beach. I like the reflection on the sand and stuff.
All right, so I set up by this lifeguard tower over here on the cliff top, and then Ariah's down here on the beach. So I'm gonna go down, say hello, and see what he's gonna paint. What view are you thinking of painting?
I'm gonna try to paint this rock, the reflection on the beach right below this big rock, and then I just wanna catch a little bit of the ocean through the rocks in the background there.
All right, so going with a 16 by 20. And there's the view. So this is basically the composition. I've got the distant mountains, obviously water here. This is really loose sketch, but we've got rocks here, and then there's going to be the wet sand that has reflection here. So I'm just going to start laying in shadows. All right, so I usually block in my shadows using a mixture of ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. I'm thinning it with a bit of liquid, and I'm just going to work quickly to establish the shadows or the really dark darks. All right, so now I'm just putting in, like, kind of averaging out the color of these cliffs, which are kind of a yellowish red. Now I might change the color and make them duller and bluer to push them back, but for now I'm just going to try to match the color as close as possible. All right, so, and for the sky, I'm using ultramarine, but this is pretty saturated, but I'm just gonna start with that. Color of the ocean is kind of a blue-green, so I'm using a little bit of cerulean hue, ultramarine, and I'm mixing in a little burnt sienna to kind of add a touch of greenness to it, lighten it up a little bit with some white. That's pretty close right there.
Sorry to bother you.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I'll take a photo from over there, but you're actually in the photo. Do you mind?
No, not at all.
I think it's just a really nice thing to have that background and then you drawing it.
Yeah, no problem.
Carry on as you were.
All right,
Sort out.
Make sure you get that guy too.
That's my buddy.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah. All right, so I just did like a half-hour quick rough in just to get everything in the right place, make sure that my composition is good. From here on, I'm gonna probably have to turn the panel so that it's not in the sun so I can get some accurate colors, but let me show you what I got so far. All right, so there's what we've got so far. I've been working on this for about 2 hours, just kind of experimenting, but trying not to overwork it. So let me show you. All right, the lighting is not so good, but hopefully you guys can see that. There was not a lot of nice color in the water here, sort of reflections from the rocks and whatnot. Tried to get this, you know, the sky reflected on the sand. All right, so we'll go down and have a look and see what Ariah's come up with. Such a nice day out here. This is definitely a really great spot. Even though it's like a holiday weekend, it's not super crowded. And this is kind of Ariah's go-to spot. He lives north of here by about 45 minutes. And he says, you know, he's come here for years and never runs out of stuff to paint. And I can see why. Anyway, let's go check it out. This is like the perfect spot. You get to cool your feet and everything. Anyway, let's take a look at what he's got here. All right, hopefully you guys can see this, but I was just mentioning how I like how he's got all these pops of yellow in here, and then a lot of really nice saturation along the horizon and everything. So yeah, looking good. But were there any challenges that you want to share with the YouTube audience?
Yeah, well, I don't know where to begin.
Look at where his easel is. Water is really interesting and has some unique challenges, especially like the wet sand, because you've got the local color, or like say the color of the sand, but then the water is reflecting the color of the sky. So there's multiple layers of color going on, which is really challenging. So we had both talked about kind of doing a really quick painting, but this one ended up, you know, we both spent a couple hours. But it was great. This is a beach I'm going to come back to. Ariah lives close by, so I'm sure I'll come by and visit him, and we'll paint here again. Okay, I forgot to mention, I will link Ariah's Instagram down below, so check it out. We had a great time painting today, and we'll see you in the next one.